In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight. My name is Brother Ahmed, and this is the Jock Brothers Show, 7 p.m. You can find us Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We have an exciting show for you tonight. We'll be honoring one of our ministers, one of the greatest ministers of our lifetime, Minister B.R. Muhammad, Abdul B.R. Muhammad. We have special guests that will help guide us through this show, and we have some co-hosts that's going to help us bring this show forward and properly honor our minister, Minister B.R. First, tonight I'd like to introduce a co-host that has been on our show numerous times. She is a daughter, a mother, a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, originally from New York City, now in Atlanta. She would like to wrap all of her accolades up by saying she is her sister's keeper. Please let us bring, with a warm Jock Brothers round of applause, our sister, Alicia Starr, 4100, back to the show.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, Muhammad's messenger. I would like to proudly be back. Welcome. Thank y'all for having me back to the show. I haven't been on here in a while, so I'm kind of nervous. You know, most people know I'm stage fright, but I always rise to the occasion. So when the Jock Brothers asked me to come on and for this show honoring Minister B.R., I was absolutely honored to bring some joy and laughter. And that's what it represents. This show represents family. It represents joy and laughter and dedication. So I'm honored to be back. And like Brother Ahmed said, I want to be known as my sister's keeper because that's what I represent. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Next, our brother, he's not with us tonight. Our brother Jackie, we definitely have to give him props. He's always working behind the scenes and on the scene. But we definitely have to acknowledge him as one of the Jock Brothers on the show. Next, we have our brother. He stepped in last minute to help us. Again, these brothers are stepping in to help us honor our brother, Minister Abdul Minister B.R. Muhammad. This brother that's helping us tonight, he serves as student protocol of Muhammad Mosque number 78 from the great state of Mississippi, out of the city of Jackson, Mississippi. He is also a high school math teacher. In addition, he teaches a double major in computer science, mathematics, minor in physics. Another part of his high school duties is coaching. He coaches the best track team. He has 2 twin boys and a daughter. I mean, this brother's, he's just all around doing everything.
That's right.
Please welcome, with the Jock Brothers round of applause, our brother Samuel X.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be on such a great show. We have a lot of alternative Black media, a lot of alternative nation Black media, and you all are doing a wonderful job. And before I forget, my minister wants to make sure I give you all the greetings from him, Student Minister Dr. Abram Muhammad in that great state of Mississippi. He also wanted to give you the greeting because, man, when we tell our story, then the enemy can't be the hero because he always telling our story, telling his story.
That's
but
right.
You all are very vital in telling our story. And I'm so happy to be on with my brother Verban as well, because we have forged a relationship between Jackson and Monroe. And yes, I know Brother Verban to get into that later. So thank you again for allowing me to be on your show as well. Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule and accepting our invitation to be a co-host. Now, our last co-host that I'll be presenting is the third and the backbone, the strength of the Jock Brothers. He's an entrepreneur, a father, a good friend of mine, a businessman. He's an inspiration and motivation to the brothers that's in this tight circle that we call a brotherhood. Please help me bring on our brother, Brother Kawi Muhammad.
Wow. Assalamu alaikum, family. I can't believe that introduction there, brother. I don't know what I did to deserve them kind words, but thank you. And once again, everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man. Tonight, we put together a beautiful show which requires your help. We want to get this word out to as many people as possible because we tonight are honoring one of the greats to ever live, to ever serve the Nation of Islam under the leadership of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We are talking about Minister Abdul B.I. Muhammad. And we also want to dedicate Monroe, Louisiana as becoming a mosque, getting their number, finally getting their number. Hard work put up by that student minister in Monroe, Louisiana. So if you could please share this episode. You just go to YouTube and look up Jock Brothers, JAKQ Brothers. Subscribe to our show. Hit the bell for future shows. It'd be much appreciated. And of course, if you're on Facebook, share on your platforms. Let's get this out to as many people as possible. Now, we would also like to send a special thanks to those that view our show on a regular basis. For those that support us on a weekly basis, the way that you do, we thank you. And for those that show tremendous love to us with financial donations and contributions to our show, we thank you very much for that. And if you want to continue to support the Jock Brothers in our endeavors, please support us with those financial contributions by sending those contributions to our Cash App. It's Jock Bros, $ Jock Bros, JAKQ BROS. It should be rolled at the bottom of the screen just if I went too fast. Again, it's Cash App $ Jock Bros. All right. Now we also have a prison initiative that is almost a year old, in which we send the Final Call newspaper behind the bars to our brothers and sisters that's locked up around this country. I mean, we have had a tremendous amount of support with contributions, and we would like for you to continue to support that initiative. Our goal is to put the Final Call newspaper behind bars to over 100 inmates or brothers of ours that absolutely require, desire the truth that we get every day. To send the Final Call newspaper to an inmate or to a brother of ours that's locked up, it's like $18 for 90 days. $18 to get the Final Call newspaper to one of our brothers for a 90-day subscription. $30 for 6 months, $60 for a year. That's a small donation to make for so much that those brothers behind bars get. So please support that endeavor. And if you want to send a contribution to that endeavor, again, you just use Cash App $ Jock Bros, JAKQ BROS. I think I covered everything in this first commercial. Back to you, Brother Ahmed. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I don't know 1,000 people. The Jock Brothers don't know 1,000 inmates behind the bars. And so we set up a email address specifically for that reason. It's at the bottom of the screen right now, jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com. Again, we don't know 1,000 people. I might know a couple, but not 1,000. So if you know somebody that's behind bars that would like to get a subscription of the Final Call newspaper, please put their name, their inmate number, the name of the prison they're at, and we'll get right to work on it. So thank you for those contributions. Thank you for those names so we can help our brothers that's incarcerated. Back to you, Brother Ahmed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so our guests tonight.
Oh, wait a minute, wait. Excuse me. Before we talk about our guest tonight, there's another co-host that we need to introduce. Now, this brother, he comes straight out of Brooklyn. His family was pioneers in the nation. He's a brother, he's a friend, he's a father, he's a dutiful man in the ranks of the FOI that's always trying to make the brotherhood better. We can't forget about our brother Ahmed Muhammad. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Praise
Now
be
you
to
can
Allah.
go to
Praise
our
be
guest.
to Allah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We striving, we working hard for the mission and the cause of truth. Thank you, sister.
Praise be to
All right, our guest tonight to help us properly honor Minister B.I. He has been the minister of Muhammad Mosque, number 99, Monroe, Louisiana, for over 13 years. He has served in several cities, including Baton Rouge, Greenville, Mississippi, Louisville, Kentucky. His ministry work has raised cities in cities such as Alexandria and Lake Charles, Louisiana, Homer, Louisiana, state prisons, federal prisons throughout Louisiana. His work with elderly, youth, and clergy is state and citywide known. He has served served as a member of the Monroe City School Board and currently serves as first vice president of the Monroe branch of the NAACP. He is married and also an active member in the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity and other civic and community organizations. Please, with the Jock brothers and sister, with round of applause, please help us welcome the man behind the idea for tonight's honoring, Brother Verbin Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you, Brother Ahmed and Brother Cowie and Sister Elisa Starr. And of course, my dear brother in Jackson, Brother Samuel. I'm so honored to be on this platform and on your show tonight, dear brother. And I know that we had scheduled me earlier to be on the show, but I had a health challenge. I came down with pneumonia right before we was getting ready to do the banquet, about a month before the banquet, and I wasn't able to, come on the show. But I'm all praise is due to Allah. I'm here tonight with you all in good spirits.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And thank you, Brother Samuel, for helping us, and Sister Alicia. We're going to have a great night tonight. But before we get started, Brother Verbin, in getting into the sacrifice and the life of our great minister, Abdul B.R. Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said something. He said, for honoring Minister B.R., you are honoring the best of yourselves. For those that honor Minister B.R., you're honoring the best of yourselves. What do you get out of that?
Well, dear brother, when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that, it kind of shocked me and shocked everybody that he was considered one of the most honored Elijah Muhammad's best ministers because of the sacrifice. No minister in the Nation of Islam went through nearly anything that Brother Minister Abdul B.R. went through. So when he said that, it's due to his sacrifice in surviving those lynchings, 3 attempts on his life for teaching and standing up for Islam. So yes, sir, he is one of the best.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, let's get into this life and this legacy and this sacrifice of our great minister. If you would start, Brother Verbin or Brother Samuel, we wanted to go back to the climate in Brooklyn when Minister B.R. first came on the scene and started helping in this work and this cause of truth of Islam. Can we start with his life in his early years?
Yes, sir.
Beginning of his ministry?
Yes, sir. As you know, Brother Minister B.R., he joined the Navy at a young age, and he was originally from Little Rock, Arkansas. And he joined the Navy, and after being honorably discharged, he relocated to Detroit, he and his brother. They heard Islam in the city of Detroit. Of course, you know that's where Detroit is number one where Islam started. So there was a lot of Muslims in Detroit. So he heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and became a member. And he rose through the ranks. He became a field minister. And when you become a field minister, it's just what it is. You get out in the field and work to raise up mosque or study groups or temples at the time. In the 60s, they were called temples. So his travels brought him to the South. It brought him into Alabama. It brought him into Mississippi, and it brought him into Louisiana. He reached Monroe, and he said that the reception was so great. The believers were coming and meeting in the homes of several believers. Some of the pioneer believers, they're passed on now. I got a chance to meet them when I was a young Muslim. The sister that actually hosted Brother Biad, and she actually bailed him out of jail on several occasions. Sister Shahida Sabri Muhammad. But they taught in her home, and they taught to the point where they grew out of the home. It became a temple. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad allowed them to function as a temple. And his work brought him in Monroe. And he said, well, Monroe was so receptive to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that he grew the congregation until they began to function as a temple.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Now his journey through that city, finding himself in New York and dealing with the mosque in New York and being handpicked by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Well, he actually, after the ordeal that took place in Monroe, of course, you know, Brother Biam survived the attempted lynching and an attempted drowning. He was when he was picked up by the Greyhound bus, he was taken over to Jackson, Mississippi. Actually, Jackson State College, now Jackson State University, where he received medical treatment. And from there, he went on to Chicago. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked him Savior's Day, I believe it was 62. Don't quote me. But it was a Savior's Day that he stood him up and asked him would he return to Monroe? Because after all, you have to realize they thought they had killed him.
Right.
And they thought they had killed him in the swamp, but he crawled out that swamp and was able to, he told me as a lifeguard, he was able to hold his breath. And that what helped him survive as he was submerged underwater. He was able to hold his breath until those law enforcement left. But after he received the medical treatment of Brother Ahmed, he was asked to return back to Monroe, and he came back to prison here. Now, I want you to think about how faith would carry you. Now, these people, these white people, these Caucasians, they thought he was dead. And he came back to stand his convictions and stand trial. So after, as you know, everything is history, kind of fast forward, and all of his charges were overturned, including murder.
Well, we kind of skipped into that. Let's rewind down a little bit to the actual event, because, like you said about the drowning, I was studying some of his lectures, and he spoke about how he used to his playground was a stream where his old neighborhood was, and he would swim for miles in the stream, and he learned how to hold his breath for long periods of time, and I guess that streamwayed into the
Arkansas River, which divided, which separates Little Rock and North Little Rock. They would swim in the river, and he would dive in and come up halfway. His friends would be looking for him, and he was literally scaring his friends. He told me, but he said he could hold his breath and come up almost in the middle of the river. So Allah blessed him with that gift as a little boy, and man, it came back to help him in the
And
life. help
so
save his life.
as a young man, fearlessness and challenges was something that he always faced. Now you kind of jumped into it. Maybe we could have start where
Well, you were saying Brooklyn, but I was
Right.
trying to. After he got he got exonerated. Okay,
yes, sir.
so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad took him out of Monroe and sent him with Minister Farrakhan to New York.
Okay.
And he went to New York and he was assigned Brooklyn because you know the minister had, was it, how many miles did he have?
18, right?
18.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So Brooklyn, you know, you all know about Brooklyn. Brooklyn was major. That's
Yes,
a
sir.
critical borough in terms of the going after our people. So he was at Brooklyn. I think it was at 7C.
Yes, sir.
And he stayed in Brooklyn a while until the Honorable Elijah Muhammad sent him to Miami.
Okay.
He sent him to Miami, bought him a brand new mosque in Miami, and he left. You know, he left Brooklyn and went into Miami
Okay. Okay.
in around the mid to late 60s.
Okay. Well, then let's rewind back to the event
Okay.
because I jumped ahead
Yes, sir.
to the actual event that took place where he was charged and some of the believers were charged and he stood up against the police and some of the believers.
Well, on March 5th, 1961, that's when the Monroe Police, under the direction of Chief, at that time, James Kelly, led about 30 armed police, and they broke into the temple. Because, you know, they were denied, they wanted to gain entry. And of course, you know, we don't carry weapons and you're not going to submit to search. So you're not just going to come in into the temple. So
right.
they gained access and a fight broke out. Now, I know we have to examine ourselves. You got to fight them. Brother B.I. say babies and women and all the brothers were fighting in the temple in Monroe, Louisiana. And so the chief, you know, they had billy clubs, armed automatic weapons. And so they wanted Brother Mr. B.I. in the temple. There were rafters, and they attempted to hang him over the rafters of the temple. And they were successful, but Brother B.I. say his tie broke the slip knot. It came undone, and he fell back down to the floor.
Wow.
And he back into fighting. So the symbol of the bow tie, brothers and sisters, actually came out of Monroe out of that incident.
Wow.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told the brothers not to wear straight ties, especially when you're out selling the newspapers or especially when we're out selling. Because I don't wear a straight tie when I'm selling papers. I try not to.
Yes, sir.
As you're in the car, someone can just grab your tie and take off, and you being drugged down the street. You got a bow tie on. I'm not even talking about the tie. I'm talking about one with a clip on it where it can just come off.
Yes, sir.
So that incident produced the bow tie. So so they attempted to hang him. You know, and then after the ordeal, they had to call for National Guard. I mean, this is serious.
Yes, sir.
So the intervention of the National Guard, Brother B.I. told me, he said he broke the chief's jaw. And I saw a picture of him. If you see him, he at the time he had a noticeable his face was kind of twisted, and they were fighting.
Wow.
I mean, it was serious, brother.
Let me ask you this question, Brother Vervin. I mean, before student Minister B.I. got to Monroe, do you know how long that it was study group? How long had it been in effect before he got there? Do you know that?
He established Monroe in 1959.
Okay, so a couple of years.
Monroe was established in 59. He told us that back then the Klan would ride around in pickup trucks, and they still do,
Right.
with their shotguns in the window. Brother Samuel know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, sir.
So in the South, they ride around, they let you know they got their heat with them. So they put it in the window. And, you know, so as the brothers back then were going door to door, every time they would knock on, see, they was inciting fear. So the black people were scared to even buy a paper from the brother because the white people were intimidating them. They didn't necessarily tell them not to buy, but when you open the door and see these white people out and the Muslims are trying to sell or offer the paper, so it kind of cut down on the activity of us trying to be successful.
Right.
So these are the type of things that Monroe went through, and that's why we're so thankful to Allah that we were able to get our number, because Monroe would have probably been had its number because we talking early 60s. Yes, sir. So after the ordeal, a lot of the believers left Monroe. They scattered. They just left town, because back in the 60s, people they left and went west. And a lot of believers from Monroe went to Los Angeles. They went to Compton, and they went to Las Vegas, and they were able to be successful out west.
Get in there, Samuel. You want to say something, Brother Samuel?
Yeah, I was gonna get Brother Bourbon. It's interesting you bring up that Muhammad Mosque 99, and I was gonna get him to talk about the relationship. He talked a little bit about it between Jackson,
right,
and Monroe. Now, and then he mentioned a little bit about with the bus and coming together. As
yes,
one.
sir. We developed, well, Jackson, we're neighbors. So Jackson and Monroe always had a special relationship because they were the closest mosque to us.
What was like 30 miles apart or something like that?
No, well, Jackson is about an hour and a half.
Oh, okay, yes, sir.
This is about an hour and a half from us, hour 40. So they were very instrumental in helping Monroe under the leadership of Dr. Abraham Muhammad. They would bring their laborers over to Monroe, and we would have joint laborers meeting. We would soldier, and Brother Abram was very instrumental because he helped to establish Muhammad Mosque 98 in Pensacola. That's his hometown, and so he gave us a plan. He gave us a blueprint, and he promised Brother Minister Br that we would be the next mosque in the Nation of Islam to get its number. I mean, the next city to get its number, become a mosque, and the relationship with Jackson, they would come over. I would go over. The believers from Monroe would go over to Jackson. We would have joint meetings, and it just was a good time. So we're thankful to Allah for the believers in Jackson.
Now, go ahead, sister. I'm sorry.
I have a question, and this can go for Brother Samuel or Brother Burden. There's a lot of ministers who have went through a lot of struggles in the nation during the leadership of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But what made y'all, I know you from Mississippi, Brother Samuel from Jackson, out of Jackson, and Brother Burden. What made you fall in love with Minister Br and his story? Because there's a lot of history here, but you have a certain amount of dedication that you have honored, in with Minister Br and rededicating this area. Is it because you're from this area, or just the history of your ancestors, or is there something that goes further from this? And I would like to hear from both of you, because I know both of you are from that area. Please, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Brother Samuel?
Well, I would say that I grew up with my grandparents, I'm saying like that. And I just love the wisdom of the elders and the times and the struggle they went through. When they told stories, I can see, that was my picture, because we didn't have the TV, right? Had black and white. But those are my stories of trying to see our people free. And so I always enjoyed hearing their story, hearing their struggle, hearing their strength. And so when I heard the story first from Brother Bourbon, of our dear brother Br, and the struggle he went to, right? And how the brother was prepared. Just Allah, just it's amazing how he prepared him to be a lifeguard, right?
Yes, sir.
He prepared him to hold his breath. There ain't nothing by accident, right? And then when that time come, he crawled out of the swamp in the street. And one of the first black drivers, is that right, Brother Verban, of
Yes,
the Greyhound, he happened to be the one to come along to see him in the road, right? And he picks him up and he takes him to Jackson. And I not only do I love it, but our ministers, we just all love it in the South, because when one hurt, everybody hurt.
That's right.
Right. And so to have that relationship then, and then I think it's beautiful now that it's this city again that you was taken to for help that will come back 91 years later, right? Well, right, on your 91st birth, and now your 92nd, we honor you to help give you this while you live, give your flowers while you live, let you see what you did while you live. So I just, honor that and honor the strength of the man that stood up strong like that. What about you that made you so strong? What about what you believed that made you stand against machine guns and had no fear?
That's right.
And so I just love to hear stories like that, the stories like that the young need to hear to make us stronger. And I know we're all in the South. And I know the minister said when the South rise, it's all over.
That's right.
That's what he said.
That's right.
Well, I would echo everything that Brother Samuel said. I have to recognize those who came before me in this post, because they all laid a foundation. There was Brother Ted, may Allah be pleased with him. He's passed on. He stood up in 1980 when we had heard that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was rebuilding this work in 1977. So it didn't get to Monroe until 80. So we got going. And Brother Ted held the post, the flag of Islam. And then we thank Allah for him. And we had Brother Greg Muhammad to come through. Matter of fact, Brother Greg Muhammad is here now helping me in Monroe. He served in the post during the Million Man March, during that time of the Million Man March. And then after Brother Greg, we had Brother Lawrence. Brother Lawrence, originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, did a fantastic job. He held the flag down for 10 years. And so they all played a part in helping us to become a mosque in Monroe. I want to thank the pioneers, those pioneers who have actually gave their life in sacrifice.
That's right.
So those pioneers are what motivated me when I took this post. I said, Monroe would become a mosque. Regional Minister Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad in Houston, he said, I remember, I took it personally. He said, how long you all going to stay a study group? Right. And I have to let you know, Brother Achman and Brother Cowie and my dear sister, that when Brother Burby, it'll be a year next month in November, when we had the believers meeting, and we was in the middle of a pandemic, and we sent in the charter. We had the believers all excited, and they were active, and we sent the charter in. And of course, I didn't know what was going to happen. I said, well, we're going to go for our number. We had followed those instructions that Jackson and Dr. Abram told us to do, and we were successful in doing some of that. And so we sent the charter in. So that believers meeting in November, National Secretary, Brother Saad Muhammad, said that Monroe Study Group will no longer be known as Monroe Study Group, now be Muhammad Mosque number 99. Man, I hit the floor. I was with my wife. literally. I fell out into a prostrate position. I said, what? And so the calls started coming in. And so the first thing after I got over the excitement and the joy, we have to honor Minister B.R.
That's right.
That's right.
That was the next move. And so we went to work planning that banquet. And of course, we can talk about the banquet a little later, but Allah was just all in it. And Monroe was able to Monroe is not a big city. It's one of the smallest cities in the Nation of Islam. But the believers are mighty, 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 and they have worked hard and they have sacrificed, and they have used Brother B.R.'s story to motivate them. And of course, we in the book, we in the Message to the Black Man, page 209.
Mhm.
and 211. Monroe, Louisiana is in the book. So we had to go to work.
Yes, sir.
I actually want to get back to the story.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
You ended with the with them trying to use the straight tie to strangle him.
Right.
Right there, but I want to go a little before that because you said Monroe Study Group started in '59. That was like a couple of years before Student Minister Bia got there, correct?
No, he brought Islam to Monroe in 59.
Oh, he brought it to Monroe. Okay, yes, sir. I thought it was.
There was no
he the
one
one established it.
He established Monroe.
Oh, wow.
And
Man.
of course, 2 years later in 61, that's when as he was growing, in 2 years he had grown Monroe to a temple.
So let me ask you this. Now, it was 2 years before the police has made their move on Monroe, Louisiana, right?
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, so what do you know the story? Like, I mean, they had seen him selling papers, but they never made a move on what did he get more aggressive in his approach? Do you know?
No, they would follow. That's what I'm saying. They would follow the brothers. He said we were selling fish, eggs. They were selling the Muhammad Speaks, and they wasn't on the corner back then. They were going into neighborhoods, and so here's someone from out of town in the South. Someone from out of town, and handsome his brother BR was, so he alarmed the establishment here. Brother BR is a handsome brother.
Yes, he
So
is.
Isn't that right? So he was able to attract people
That's right.
to Islam. And brother can teach. He was a wonderful, still is a wonderful teacher. So as they began to grow and they got they got a meeting place. And so, they would just like now, they monitor you and I. They got a jacket on you. They got a jacket on me. The government, they know who we are, but all they can do is watch us work, dear brothers and sisters.
That's right.
All praise due to Allah.
So go. You had a follow-up question, Mel, or you want me to keep on?
No, I was we was getting back to the story.
Okay.
To the
Well, you can ask me aspects of the story because there was some Muslims. Now the Muslims who were from Monroe was involved in that ordeal, and some of them, I'm not going to say lost faith, but it discouraged them and they stopped attending. And so your faith, Brother Biase, has to be strong and rooted in Master Fard Muhammad.
That's right.
And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the exalted Christ, and the honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan, the messenger and our Messiah and our excuse me, that your faith shouldn't be unwavered, because the Quran says, do men think they will be left alone on saying you believe and will not be tried? So
That's
right.
right.
Brother BR was tried with his life.
Right.
Okay, so they took him to the swamp. They took him to the swamp to drown. Okay, so before you
He went to jail first. Okay.
Jail first. Okay.
Once the fight took place, they got medical attention. They went to the hospital, and then they were all gave certain charges. Brother BR was given 6 years at the state penitentiary in Angola. Okay, Angola is the state prison here. Before he could wait wait trial, a lynch mob broke him out of jail. They broke him out of jail. And of course, they had to have some help from inside to break someone out of jail.
That's right.
And so they took him out of jail, shackled him, and drove him to the state line of Mississippi and Louisiana. And then that's where they went into the swamp. And of course, a swamp is a shallow, like a creek, but it's much more muddier.
Right.
Yeah, you know, in Louisiana, there's nothing. You know, the Mississippi River is muddy, but they took him to that swamp, and he told me that he could feel 6 sets of cowboy boots. One was on his head, the other one was on his shoulder, one was on his other shoulder, and one was on the buttocks. The other one was on the buttocks, and the other one was on the leg, all the way down until they thought they had submerged, and they literally stood on his body.
Wow.
Face down
Hmm.
in the water.
Hmm.
Now, Mr. Burton, you said you went by that swamp and checked it out yourself. Can you describe to everybody what you saw of that swamp that he was in?
It reminds you of something in slavery. I know they talked about, I've never been to Ghana. It's like when you go through the door of no return and they were boarding those ships. It's just an eerie feeling, my brother, that Allah has kind of, because they were dead, other people didn't come out of that swamp. So a lot of lives had been lost, and so it's almost like, you know, the ground or the waters were speaking.
Wow.
You know, it's just like Brother Samuel know that in the Mississippi is all kind of bones of our people, man.
Right.
You know, it made a song called "In the Mississippi River."
Right.
Mm.
And
Can somebody sing it? One of y'all gonna sing it for the show? Go ahead, Brother Samuel. We're gonna
What's
sing
the
it.
sister, I know another sister sang the song Mississippi Goddamn. You know, but I want to ask Brother Verb, you know, you remind me, I see it of the pattern, you know, with Mike Charles Parker in Poplarville, Mississippi. The lynch mob dragged him out of jail, and there was some water, right? You got Emmett Till.
All doing the same time, yeah.
The water. And you got the Cheney, and I know that was a pattern that they would
the civil rights
out of jail or break you out of jail. All of a sudden, you end up. What is it that you see that made Brother B.I. be the exception to the rule? How do you see that orchestrating? How you see how that coming together?
His faith in Allah, and Islam being the remedy for the black man and woman of North America. Islam is you know, it comes after everything has failed. And so with Brother B.I. coming to bring Islam to Monroe, a city that's rotten to the core, that has oppressed our people for many, many years, that has enslaved us spiritually, morally, mentally, and we're trying to bring something that will clean our people up. You know, Allah had to preserve our brother, even though the devils planned evil. I remember when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he came through Monroe when his daughter graduated from Grambling back in 2017. And the mayor at the time gave the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan a key to the city. But a key to the city was already given to Brother Nuri, and Brother Nuri gave it to Brother B.I. So Brother B.I. has a key to the city as well. But the people, the whites in the Jewish community here got so excited that the mayor gave Minister Farrakhan a key to the city. And so I wrote an article. I say, well, I have to remind you of Monroe's history when it comes to the Muslims here. So by giving Minister Farrakhan a key to the city, when we are owed the whole city.
Right.
You know,
that's right.
I'm talking about we really are owed the real keys to open all the doors.
Add it up.
Thanks to the jails. So, you know, I took it personal, man, because, and then you have to think about it. I thought about it. And my wife, she said, well, you know, you have to be careful. I said, we all have to be careful. You know, I'm in the post, you know, and you don't know the people, how they're thinking, the police department. When I first became a Muslim, I was arrested. Me and the brothers were arrested several times.
Mm.
And they give us little bogus charges, such as hitchhiking, panhandling, and you go to court and the judge throw it out. But what it is just to intimidate, to try to get to break your faith. So we thank Allah for that's a beautiful person, brother Samuel. But it was his faith in Allah, Master Fard Muhammad, that makes him different than those. See, because we are not trying to integrate. We're trying to separate, and see, and the enemy knows that.
Mm.
So, oh man, I know I want to. I'm loving the story, brother. I'm loving the story. I'm loving the spirit behind it. Let's go back to when they were standing on top of him, though.
Right.
He said he felt 6 pair. Okay, so when they left, right? I mean, of course, when they left, they had to feel that he was deceased. They left.
Right.
I mean,
Brother Biat told me,
right.
after they left, he turned over on his back and brought his head up so he could breathe above the water. I mean, all this is just lifeguard moves, because I'd have been, he wasn't fighting, being excited. He just, played possum, what we call play possum, play dead. And he emerged out of that water, and he said he was bleeding. He was nearly dead. He said, if I could just get to the highway, maybe somebody would stop and pick me up. And so he emerged and he crawled. He couldn't even walk. He crawled out of that swamp to highway.
You saw the swamp now. Like how far a crawl would you say he had to crawl?
Man, this probably was almost a football field to me, maybe 100 yards. And that's a long way to crawl.
When you have dead,
That's
definitely.
right. And he say when he got to the highway, he just laid. It was Highway 80, because back then there wasn't an interstate system. That was the highway that runs from Monroe to Jackson. And he said that he just laid in the middle of the highway, and the first vehicle that approached him was a Greyhound bus. And
Now,
I wanted to say I retired from Greyhound after 27.
Yeah,
I worked for Greyhound for 27 years, and I was able to find that bus driver. He's deceased now. He said, brother, he started crying. He said, man, nobody has come out of that swamp alive. Nobody.
Wow.
that's what I was going to ask you about, the brother driving, the bus driver. Did he ever receive, have we ever honored him or gave him any accolades in our history?
Well,
Was there any?
No, I lost track of him. He had some people in Louisiana. I think he moved to California, but that would have probably been something very honorable if we could have done something. Because he literally saved his life,
Definitely.
And let me jump in there because I was watching the interview, and he said that same bus driver, or he was an assistant bus driver, he had pulled so many other people out of, or he's along his routes, he would see men hanging
from trees. Yes,
and,
sir.
And assisting different men in the South along his route. Like that was nothing new to him.
No, that's why I say I've seen so many, because that was his route. He running back and forth on Highway 80, and he said, but for Brother Minister Biat to come out alive, he said it brought tears to it. So they took him. He said he got some. Brother Biat said there were several brothers or men that was on the bus. Took them on the bus and took them all the way to the back on the long seat in the back of the bus, and just laid them out until they got to Jackson. And of course, that's how Jackson, the medical, at the time they had a medical facility at Jackson State.
Wow.
And then they called, at the time, they notified the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from Jackson, the Supreme Captain, and the national secretary at the time. They all came down to see about our brother.
Now, this my favorite part of the story. To me and Brother Sam.
Oh, is he
So
delayed? Okay,
Okay.
he's delayed. Oh, while he's waiting for his favorite part to come back, Brother Samuel, you have a question? You can go ahead, Brother Samuel.
Oh, I'm back. Oh, he's frozen. Okay. Gotcha.
You have a question? You can go ahead, Brother Samuel.
Oh, I was going to slide into something you said earlier about the bravery and the faith in Allah, right? And speaking of the banquet, I know we're eventually going to get to the banquet. Do you remember what Minister Farrakhan said that he had never said it before?
Yeah, I opened up with it. He said that Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that he said, I'm going to say something tonight. He said that Brother Abdul Bial was one of the best ministers because of his sacrifice, because of what he went through, because of what he suffered to establish Islam in Monroe, Louisiana. So yes, sir, brother. So this banquet, the banquet, brother, was the next step. The believers in Monroe got busy, and it was a beautiful banquet.
Yes,
I don't know if you all got a chance to see it.
Yes, I seen it on Zoom. All praise to
It was beautiful. The words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and you were able to get words from Brother Minister Abdul Bial Muhammad. He spoke. He was so excited because he had been a little ill, but he looked good. He's 92.
92.
Yes.
You heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say, "I'm gonna have to respect my elder." He said, "Brother, I didn't know you was 92."
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's actually older than the minister. He was born in 1930, the same year that the God came.
1930. That's beautiful.
I was going to ask a question about, you talked about the banquet. How has the community responded to Mosque number 99? I know that this has been years in the making. So what type of response
Well,
you get from the
it
community?
has literally, my dear sister, brought some of the community, especially the Black community, because, they always been with this Christian Muslim thing and keeping us divided. But every time there's an issue in our community, they look for the Muslims to be there. They look for us to speak out on the issues. So we recognized at the banquet, my brother, who is, because I told you, I'm a part of the NAACP, because I try to follow footsteps of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's a life member of the NAACP. There's certain things we just not going to do, but, all the marching and stuff, but we can still support each other. And so in the banquet, we recognized the president of the NAACP here locally, some community activists locally, and we recognize some attorneys here. There are some sisters who are just literally fighting for freedom, justice, and equality, who are dealing with our people who have been wronged, because the Ronald Green case, I know that's gone nationally. You probably heard about that. These sisters are on that same team, legal team, helping with that brother. We recognize them at the banquet. So yes, sister, it's able to bring us together, and then they can see high civilization.
That's right.
They can see the mighty, the beautiful MGT.
That's right.
They can see how we handle one another, the mighty FOI. And so it's big on a lot of levels. Yes, we have our number, but it's also an opportunity for us to display Islam at its best.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. And what guided you into starting that and bringing that together, Mr. Bourbon? Mr. Bourbon, what?
Well, we wanted to dedicate the mosque. We knew that we was going to invite our regional minister to dedicate the mosque. And so our sister captain, Sister Sonia Muhammad, and our secretary and other laborers and the believers said, look, let's do a banquet. We want to honor our brother, Minister Abdul B.R. Muhammad. We were hopeful initially that he could be there. You know, we wanted him to
Absolutely.
physically be there. But Allah knows best, he was
That's
there.
right.
Right.
That's
Right.
right.
He was there. He was there in spirit. We saw him on Zoom, and
Right.
and we were able to. And I want to thank also Brother Troy and Brother Ahmed in Chicago for bringing. They're able to bring in Brother Darnell, our regional IT technical person in Houston. He literally came to Monroe and helped to Zoom and set everything up so that it could be that we could bring the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Brother Minister Abdul B.R. To that banquet.
Praise be to Allah.
I know that earlier you stated, and I don't remember if it was Brother Samuel or Brother Burnett, about it was student minister Dr. Abram Muhammad, and I know you serve as his protocol director, Brother Samuel, who had the passion to say that told the minister we was going to get this mosque within a certain time period. Now, how did that passion start? And this is for both of you, Brother Samuel and Brother Burnett. I know you work closely with him, both of you. So what was that passion about going, galvanizing the men, going into the cities, doing fundraising, trying to get a building? Like, what was the spirit behind it? What was, tell me a little bit about that drive.
Now, Minister Abram, that was his initial statement. Now, he's like we're a kindred spirit, right? And he loved the history as well. He loved the pioneers, and he realizes, and he says it often, it's their shoulders that we stand on.
That's right.
It's their shoulders. And what kind of honor do we need to do to honor a man that has established something, right? He said, man, too long they are gone, and they never get to see the fruits of their labor. He just made it a personal vow. We're going to get this established while he lives, so he can see the fruits of his labor come through. And and we like that in Jackson. We just put the goal out there and just go get it. Right.
Right.
And everybody in the nation got their niche. One of his niches is to go to a city, break down the city, and give people a plan so they can move from study group to mosque. That's his niche. He's pretty good at it, right? And we team that thing. We go around because we don't see we the southern region, they're the southwest region, they're the eastern region, but we don't get caught in that. That's camaraderie. We see ourselves as one nation, right?
That's right.
That's sort of the motivation, to raise our nation. We think for the whole. We think for the team. We're team players. We're not individual players. We're team players.
That's right.
Have any of you noticed differences in soldiering in the southern regions versus the northern cities? In any different difficulties in dealing with the people?
Well, I lived in Louisville, which is, Midwest. In the South, it's hot. Hot, brothers. I'm talking about 95, 96, humidity, 70%. And, you have to know Islam, because the people are so genuine in the South that they can tell if you're not coming straight.
Oh yes, they can reach.
They can tell, and if you're sincere, they still may not come around. They're gonna watch you, and but it's no different, man. Islam. Most of the people up north come from the South, so it's just dealing with the climate is probably the biggest issue, because you get cold up north, it snows, it really gets cold.
What about the police and different issues? I know there's racism on all sides. When you build in the mosque and getting help in some of the cities, you don't get as much backlash. I don't know if the South is a little different.
Well, the police will sometimes harass you. When I mean harass you, they'll stop you and say, hey, you need to get off the corner. And of course, we'll obey and get off the corner and be right back tomorrow.
Hmm.
You know, that's how you do that. You
Right.
don't sit there and argue with the police. And now, if he keep coming out there running you off the corner or running us off the corner, then we have to maybe go a step higher. We need to speak to your chief or your captain or whoever's in charge, because we are doing a job. Actually, we're trying to help you with your
Right.
job. Really, if you let us
Tell them
do
you
it.
got the key to the city.
Right.
That's right. So, so
Was
we
it
don't
your
really
work?
have that problem in Monroe now, because there's been a lot of sacrifice, and that's what Islam establishing Islam does. You don't get the harassments from the police. You don't, and the people now, all you gotta do is get out there with the paper. They got the $2, and look, the people know the paper's $2 now.
Hmm.
Mm.
They're okay with it.
Yeah,
And-
okay
and
with it.
With your work with the NAACP, has it made it easier in building study groups and mosques in those areas?
Well, working with the NAACP is very, very rewarding. We are able to show and working with the president that he's a pastor, and he know that I'm a minister in the Nation of Islam. We are not ego tripping. We are all about dealing with the issues of the community. So the broader membership of the NAACP sees that. So that means that, if we can settle our differences on that level, then the community can settle this difference on this level.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
We want to welcome back Brother Kawi to the show.
There he is.
With my lights on.
And it's 8 o'clock. We're going to take a short break to give a shout out to some of our sponsors of the show. If you would all bear with us for a second, Brother Kawi.
Oh, yes, sir. So thank you again for tuning in to the Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man. Great show so far. I really love the stories. I really love the energy. But let's talk about the Jock Brothers. We support Black businesses. We've been supporting Black businesses and businesses from the youth for a long time. But very seldom do we celebrate ourselves and our businesses. So I want to take the time to celebrate the Jock Brothers and what we do. I want to start off with Brother Ahmed. I mean, this brother here is a world traveler. He go everywhere. He started off just locally, just going around the states, but now he go across the water. He's a computer guru. Now he can add author to the list of great things. He has a book called Bilal, the Bullies, a book that he wrote, came straight from the heart. This is the first of many. Support our brother. For we very seldom see comic books or cartoon books that depict us. I know when I was growing up, it was Dr. Seuss books. Now if I had BI books,
Go ahead.
I would have been supporting him. So support our brother. You can support our brother by going to www.bipublishing.com. Please support our brothers in his endeavors, and I'm trying very hard to get him to do another book signing, but at the local libraries in Atlanta area and Clayton County area. So I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to support my brother in his endeavors. Next business, Brother Ahmed. Well, support me. I see the sister out here, Mavis the real estate, and we support our sister. Ain't no competition. I love her.
That's
She
right.
loves me as well. I'm in real estate, been doing this now for a little bit. I deal with sales, I deal with buyers, I deal with commercial, I deal with land. Call your brother Kawi Muhammad. I know I say Brian Pippins, but say Kawi, and you're gonna get that special love from me. And you can reach me at 44671-5681. And of course, last but not least, even though our brother Jackie Muhammad is not with us, he's not with us because he's handling his business. He owns Supreme Waste Removal. This brother here, he have dump trucks, and he have cans that he take everywhere. Support our brother. You don't support the other man. Support your man, Brother Jackie Muhammad. Supreme Waste Removal. I wish I had his number to give you. But we're going to work on that. We're going to get that number on here. But until that time, call me if you want to get to him. Supreme Waste Removal. Also, don't never want you to forget the initiative that we got going on at Jot Brothers. We don't want to be just any type of podcast. We want to be a podcast that's really involved with trying to make other people's lives better. And so again, we're trying to put the Final Call newspaper behind bars. We shooting for 1,000 of our family members that's behind bars. Again, $18 for 90-day subscription. You just send that contribution to the Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the page. It's $ Jock Bros, $JAKQBROS. And last but not least, man, we've been talking about Student Minister B.I. on this show all night long. And before we get to B.I., Brother Jackie just sent me his number. So if you want to get in contact with our brother Jackie, in terms of the business is concerned, his number is 404-957-7639. And I'm telling you, he worked that day. You call him that day, he'll get you a can that day. He don't waste no time with it. Again, this show is dedicated to one of the great Muslims, one of the great FOI in Nation of Islam history. We recently had a celebration of service, flowers while you live, if I may say, honoring our brother Minister Abdul B.I. Muhammad in Monroe, Louisiana, which was hosted by our brother Verban Muhammad. They took a lot of pictures. They put some of those pictures in our latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. Please get your local Final Call that will have articles of that particular event in which they honor our great brother Minister Abdul B.I. Muhammad. So those are the announcements for today. Please support us. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wow.
Walaikum salam.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, before we get started, I got cut off, brother. I was, I don't know if y'all even got to that story about this the greatest part of the story for me is when the messenger asked him to go back down to my road. Did y'all cover that while I was out?
No, we was waiting for you to get back, brother.
Okay.
So that's on you.
to me, the whole story, that is the most compelling part of the story, because this really challenges a person's faith. And I would I don't even want to put myself in those shoes. If you just been, somebody tried to hang you in your own mosque, and that was a failed attempt. After they beat you. And I remember him telling the story. He said they beat him with belt buckles and just ripped off chunks of his skin. After they tried to put you in a swamp and drown you, 6 brothers standing over his back, and now he
Not brothers.
Go ahead.
They weren't brothers.
You're right.
Yeah, they devils, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
yes, sir.
But they 6
Now,
of
go
them.
ahead. No, I just wanted that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah.
Then I think he goes to the messenger and he asks him to go back down to Monroe and turn yourself in.
Right.
Now, I know that we know he did it, but have you ever put yourself in those shoes? Like, wow, that's quite a request.
You wouldn't have went, huh? You would have went. You wouldn't have went. You wouldn't have went. The story wouldn't have ended like this, right?
I mean, like Brother Sammy said, man, they believed in the messenger so deep, so much so. Every word that he said.
Yes, sir.
I have to believe with the way I heard the believers and how they believed in the messenger. I think if he would have told me face to face to go back down now, I think I would have went.
You think?
You think?
I mean, I'm not in those shoes. I'm not in BI shoes, but I'm pretty sure I would have went. You want to add to that, Brother Samuel?
Well, it leads to a question. I'm going to ask, is that we know the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in our midst today. Really, they're one in the same, because he said, I haven't said an original word, right? I just say what my father said, right? So if that believers at that time had that kind of faith and they accomplished so much. What does that say? The kind of faith we should have in the Messiah today, and how will it help us accomplish, today? We maybe we do have that test. I'm saying, we just see it in a different form.
Mm.
Well, it's just like this. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, regardless of whom or what, right?
Right.
You have to continue pressing on. So sometimes that brother or sister in the mosque, will you go back? So it's on our, we have to look at it on our level. If something so strong that you say, well, man, I ain't going back down there, or I'm not going back. I'm not going back to the mosque because of them, right?
Right.
No, bro, B.I. didn't do that.
Right.
He went because he was under instruction from the leader of the Nation of Islam, the exalted Christ, Elijah Muhammad. And think about if he wouldn't have went. He wouldn't have got his holy name. See, at that time, he didn't have his holy name. So you have to do certain things to get the holy name. So Brother B.I. told me when he got his holy name, B.I., Abdul B.I., which means the keeper of the house or the ruler of the house. And he said that the more science, they say Bay, but in Islam it's B.I. B.I. The Y takes the Ya sound. Yeah, B.I. And so he said that once he got that name, he asked the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, could he kiss him on both cheeks? And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad allowed him to do so in the Islamic fashion, So, man, I'm so glad he did go back.
That's right.
Because that's why he's the best, one of the best brothers and sisters. Because, that's a trial.
That's right.
Here it is. These people tried to kill you. So after that, the Elijah Muhammad, of course, took him out of Monroe. At one point, back in the 90s, he was told not to even come back to Monroe.
In the 90s?
It was in the early 90s when we were kind of when the minister was, that's when the minister was rolling. He was speaking cities and different cities and
what was the climate that
well, Monroe it wasn't, it's basically, it wasn't secured enough for him to come here. I mean, he went to other cities, went to New Orleans, he went to Baton Rouge, but he never came back to Monroe. And so
it was still a hostile environment, or it was
just hostile. We didn't know how the enemy would treat him. So we had a banquet back in the late 90s. He came back and we had a banquet. And of course, every Savior's Day I would see Brother B.I. And in his voice, you got your number yet? He always would ask me every Savior's Day. I say, no, sir, Brother B.I., we working, brother. We working. And so year after year, that always stayed with me. And Brother Abram, when I met him in Jackson, and we said that we're gonna get established. We're gonna establish Monroe as a mosque. So I'm thankful to him because he did a lot of work in Florida as well.
That's right.
With Brother B.I. Of course, Brother B.I. did most of his work after he, got through the ordeal in Monroe. He established Miami and Fort Lauderdale and all of Florida, really, Tampa. At the time, in the early days, Brother B.I. was, he was the regional minister for a while. And of course, now he's a pioneer now, but he's a mentor. He's an advisor. He's helping Brother Student Minister Patrick in Miami and the believers in Miami, Florida. They love Brother B.I. down there.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. So you in Florida now, right?
Absolutely. I was just at Mars number 29 with the believers on the Holy Day of Atonement.
Praise be to
So
God.
I was with the family and the spirit. They are very humbled with the presence of Minister B.I. You can just feel the peace. It's very humbling.
Yeah.
So Mr. Verban, what would you say now to an audience who's not familiar with Minister B.R. and his sacrifice, because his story is inspiring for brothers and sisters, men and women, to stand up to freedom, justice, and equality wherever injustice is. What would you say to them when you present Minister B.R.'s life and his legacy to them?
Well, I would tell them that whatever your desires are, whatever you are striving for, it's not going to come without a difficulty factor attached to it. There's going to always be a difficulty factor attached to whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is, if you're in school. So his story is so rewarding and so inspiring that even though we may not be in a situation where we may be hanged, or we may be, you never know, or we may be drowned, but if we can listen to his story and internalize his story and put ourselves back into the time frame in which it happened, then here we are in 2022 where all barriers really have been removed. Our only problem is we in our own way.
Right.
We are in our own, with technology, with cell phones and things of this nature. So the problem that we're running into is laziness. And that's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us that prayer.
Seek refuge.
Yes.
Right.
Cowardness, niggardliness, and and laziness.
Right, that's right.
So we just have to get up, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, get up and do something for ourselves.
Brother Vervin.
Yes.
I got a question for you. And the mathematician in me bring this question out.
Okay.
As Muhammad Mas 99, right? And 99 surah being the shaking.
Yes, sir.
And I know you done thought about it because you are 99, right? So how do you see this story, Mas number 99, the shaking,
right,
as imparted by nation? Have you connected that to Islam is mathematics and mathematics?
Well, brother, you need to get Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad's lecture. He taught, look, he multiplied 9 times 9. He dealt with 90 and 9, the city, 9, the hypocrite. He multiplied it. He did it in really 99, of course, is the shaking. Right. And as Jesus went to the cross, there was an earthquake that took place. So we know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has a rendezvous with destiny. He's going to his father. So I don't know if Monroe is the last mosque before he leaves. I don't know. I do know that 99 means the shaking.
Yes, sir.
So with it's a shaking for not only the enemy, it's a shaking for us. It has shook the believers up. So yeah, 99 is very significant because all of the mosque numbers are very significant for each city. So yeah, we number 99.
Yes,
all
sir.
To do to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. We are reaching the closing end of our show, Brother Minister, and at this point we will go around and give closing remarks. So I just wanted to start with you, with giving any closing remarks, and in a second we'll put up the website for the final call, where those who are watching can order the final call, because in this particular issue, they're speaking about the banquet and the website for the subscription to the final call. But if you would like to give your closing remarks about anything about the the viewers about Brother Minister B.R.
Well, first of all, thank you, Brother Achman, Brother Cowie, and Sister Elisa Starr, and Brother Samuel for hosting this show on Jock Brothers. it's really, man, the hour went fast. Hour and a half went fast. I thought, I was like, man, I might run out of something. I don't know if I'm having, man, it went fast. But I wanted to thank all the believers who came into Monroe from the southern region, from the southwest region. I want to thank our regional minister, Dr. Abdul Ali Muhammad, for supporting Monroe and
Yes, sir.
getting us to the point, Dr. Abram and Jackson, and all of the believers who worked hard. As you know, this is the old, this is the book that Other Minister Beyond originally, but he's in the process of putting another book together. This is called A Louisiana Lynching, and it has all of his FBI files, all of the Supreme Court ruling, all of the testimonies. It's fantastic. So I'm working with him to helping him to put together, hopefully, a new book, so that the believers in our nation, because this is a piece of history, and I know that Brother Abdul Salam, formerly Brother Carlos, who's our archivist in the nation, we need to get Monroe's history to him,
Right.
so he can have it. But again, thank you, dear brothers and sisters, for allowing me to come on, and may Allah continue to bless this show. And assalamu alaikum.
And again, if you wanted to subscribe to the Final Call, you can go on to NOI.org, and subscriptions to the Final Call, you can subscribe at finalcall.com. This issue of the Final Call will be showing the event that Minister Verbin and Moss in Baton Rouge, in Monroe, at the event of dedicating and honoring Minister B.R. Muhammad. Okay, brother Samuel, would you have any closing remarks?
Yes, sir. I like to thank you all for allowing me to be a guest on your show. Broadening me, because this is normally not what I do. I'm normally in the background working, But I really appreciate coming up with my brother. Being a protocol director, my brother is involved with everything, and that's what we supposed to do: get involved with everybody among our people, right? And I'm happy that the relationship we forged. I'm happy that the way they honored our brother. I'm happy that I got invited to the banquet. And one of the things I'll take from that banquet that the minister said, he highlighted the verse, really John 15:13. Greater love has no man than he lay down his life for his brother. And one of the words the minister said, I remember from the banquet, and it was such a beautiful day. He said, I have never forgot what this man suffered, Brother B.R. And because of him, I offer my life for the cause of Islam. He has been the guiding star of my life of service. So if he meant that much to the minister, I think we as FOI, we as MGT, all the nation, that the minister based his giving his life on Brother B.R., I think we should study that a little bit deeper and do the same. So I thank you, though, for allowing me to be on your show.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Brother Kawhi, because I want to save Sister Alicia Starr best for last.
Yes, sir. I want to start out by thanking our sister Alicia Starr for answering the call. We called her, and she answered the call. She did it, with no hesitation at all. She always give us a hard time, but it was really no hesitation in her heart. I believe if we're gonna start a jock sister one day, she's definitely gonna spearhead.
It's long overdue.
Brother Samuel, thank you, brother. You took the call as well at the last minute, and you was gracious. You was enthusiastic, and every time I see you, man, ain't number energy, big smiles from you, brother.
That's right.
Oh, praise!
I really appreciate the history you have, the knowledge you have. Praise be to Allah. Brother Verbin, man, you've been at this a long time, brother. we finally got here, man. I really appreciate you coming on to the show, sharing this great history with us. This is the type of history that I absolutely do not want to die.
No,
You
Right.
know,
Right.
we just don't talk about those stories that made us who we are today as much as we need to, and give the type of reverence that it need to have. I thank you for putting that Flowers While You Live type of event up for Brother Biot, and I appreciate the Final Call staff for putting it in their newspaper. And it shows like this that has to keep those old stories alive and keep our pioneers alive. That literally gave their life so that we could be here today talking about it. So thank you, Brother Student Minister Vermin, for keeping that story alive and caring much about the brother. And again, congratulations on y'all getting your dedication. You finally turning Monroe, Louisiana, all these many years from being a study group, and you being the student minister that have the honor of taking it to a mosque. So I salute you for that, and much success. And I can't wait till the day, and it won't be long when I get to visit your mosque, Muhammad's mosque. That's in Monroe.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
And we saved the best.
Brother Ahmed Bia, do you have any closing remarks?
We saved the best for last. Our sister, Alicia Starr, 4100, Alicia Starr Muhammad, who's traveled from New York to Miami and is traveling now to some of these cities. And her journey with Minister Bia is priceless. So she has a lot in that. So please just give us some closing remarks and a little bit about your relationship with Minister Bia.
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. I love the energy that we come together and display. And a lot of times the media and different outlets only see the negative side of us. So it's always a joy to be on the show, to show the positive energy and genuine love. You know, as the only Jock sister, the official Jock sister, I love being on the show because, the minister said, be the best you. And I get to be the best me always. And that's what I love about the brotherhood, because they accept me just by being me. So it's kind of strange. And first of all, I don't represent myself. I represent a universal sisterhood.
That's
and
right.
If there's any sisters that are interested in learning more about the women of Islam, you can get in touch with, you can just send an email to the Jock Brothers email, and I'll be able to give you more information to the wonderful class of Islamic women that we meet on Saturdays. And we have our national MGT captain that is out of Chicago. And then I represent the Southern region because I'm in Atlanta. And we have our Southern regional student captain that's out of Atlanta. So if you send an email to the Jock Brothers email, then I'll be able to give you some more information about the women of Islam. We're moving right ahead. I met Brother Bia in 1991, the first time in Brooklyn. And it was just, he embraces everyone like he is their father. So everyone is like, my daughter, and it's just such a genuine love. So moving fast forward down the timeline, I moved to Tampa in 1999. So we had the privilege of always interacting with Miami and going throughout the Southern region. And Minister B, I used to visit frequently. In the spirit of him, you would never know the trials that he went through. He doesn't walk with them. And that's one of the things that is beautiful about him, because he's in present time.
Right.
And that's what we have to do in being a student, is to stay in present time in order for us to move forward. And when Brother Samuel brought up the 99, and I keep thinking about the 99, the number of the mosque, and it brought me to think about the 99 attributes.
Come on now.
all of the 99 attributes had to be applied for 99 for Mars number 9 to be established.
Man.
So y'all went through all 99 attributes. So that's what I said, whoa. And it's just the trials that this area was able to overcome with the direction and leadership of course, student minister Dr. Abram, but it was the idea and the drive from student minister Bia that gave y'all the force and power and energy.
That's
but
right.
it was the love, and that's what I heard. So
Yeah.
I am definitely in the moment and in the present time that we move forward with each other. We all know that we just left the Spirit of Atonement on October 16th, and that was the anniversary of the Million Man March. We have to, use these same principles to honor each other while we live, to do it now, because no man is promised tomorrow. Actually, the minister said we going from moment to moment at this point. So I thank all of you, and I just love the brotherhood, and I love being around the men of God. As the woman of God, it's my honor to have sat with y'all tonight, and hopefully I was Allah was well pleased.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
thank y'all for having me on the show, and I greet you all and greet you with peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wow. Great Islam, man. Thank you for coming on and gracing us with your beauty and your wisdom and knowledge. You're like a flower. Well, thank you, Brother Verban, and may Allah continue to bless you in your works in that part of the region and in Islam and your family and your dedication and your sacrifices. Like Brother Kawi said, we were going to come down to that event. So inshallah, in the future, we'll be coming down to visit. If you want to lay out the carpet or the beans or whatever, we could work that
Come
out.
on, get some of this good food on the weekend.
And the Jock sisters, inshallah, coming with them.
Right? Y'all come on.
Roll out that white carpet.
And Brother Samuel, we thank you for joining us and taking out your time and your sacrifice and gracing us with the information and knowledge that you have about this particular event. And we would love to invite both of you back on the show for future different segments that we will be going into.
Yes, sir.
And we thank our viewers, Jock Brothers, in gracing us with your time to honor one of the greatest ministers of our time.
Right.
And in this all his time in the nation, and because of his love and sacrifice and suffering for Allah and the cause of truth in Islam, we say, long live Muhammad. And his dedication and his history will outlive the flesh. We will celebrate his dedication for a long time coming, and we constantly will have shows to remind us of our great pioneers and trailblazers of their work. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for showing up, and we see you next week, inshallah. Same channel, same time, 7:00. Jock Brothers. Assalamu alaikum.
Donate to the show.
No, Kawi's not going. Oh, Kawi.
You got it, brother. I'm looking for it. I can't find it. Here you go.